Most of the common advice around Google Ads keyword match types is completely irrelevant for B2B SaaS companies, and it's costing them thousands of dollars a month by following this advice. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the best keyword match types to use for B2B SaaS companies that'll help you avoid wasted spend and generate more qualified sales meetings from your Google Ads campaigns. So before I dive into the best match type strategies, I want to talk about what keyword match types are in general. So keyword match types in Google Ads are a way to determine how closely your keywords are going to match with the search queries that people are going to search. So just to give you an understanding, to understand match types, it's important to understand the concept that keywords are not the same as search terms. So just because you target a keyword in your Google Ads account, it doesn't actually mean that you show up for exactly that phrase or word when someone is searching in Google. Based on the match types you're using, that determines how closely your keyword is going to relate to the search terms that you actually bid on. So you can see this example here on the screen. Just because you're bidding on crypto advertising, it doesn't mean that you're only going to show up when people exactly search crypto advertising. You could show up for crypto advertising platform, crypto advertising agency, crypto advertising on Facebook. Depending on your match types that you're using, it'll determine how closely you show up for that term. And so there's three different match types you can use. There's broad match, phrase match, and exact match. Broad match basically is the loosest form of a match type. So basically it says that you're telling Google to show up for anything that relates to the topic of your keyword. Phrase match says that you need to include the word that you're targeting in the search term. An exact match says basically only show up for exactly what I am targeting as a keyword. So there's positives and negatives to all match types. For broad match, it's the most loose, so you can spend a lot of money on keywords that don't really relate to what you're offering, but it also gives you the cheapest cost per click and it gives you the most reach. If you go down to exact match, it's going to make sure that you are targeting more tightly exactly what you're looking for. But on the flip side, you're not going to get as much volume. You could be missing other keyword options that are very close to what you're targeting, but it's not going to show up because of the type match types. So there's positive and negatives to all of them. But what we've seen for B2B SaaS specifically is that the approach you need to take is a little bit different than what's being recommended in the world. So what's being recommended right now is to use broad match keywords. This is the common advice. The reason is with Google's new AI capabilities, what Google is recommending is that you use a broader match keyword. With broad match, it is better able to pick up signals around what people are searching and how it relates to your product. So what they're saying is basically use broad match, be specific with your keywords, and let the AI do its job. Now, that sounds great. But what we found in theory is that this leads to a disaster for B2B SaaS companies. And why is that? So the first thing is it's leading to a ton of money wasted on irrelevant search terms. Again, broad match is the loosest form. And what we found with B2B SaaS companies, especially ones that sell to a specific vertical or a specific audience, is they're looking for a very specific buyer. And Google has no way to understand from the jump who you're looking for and who your ICP is. So what we find is that it usually leads to showing up for searches that are pretty irrelevant to what you're offering and brings in a lot of unqualified leads. The second thing is, as mentioned, the reason broad match works is because Google is able to pick up signals and understand user behavior to understand who is going to be a great buyer, who they should show their ad to. The problem is with a lot of B2B SaaS companies is they're selling a software that's relatively new to market. And sometimes it's brand new to market. And what I've come to realize is that Google does not understand what your new technology actually does. Now, if you were selling a service like house cleaning or shoes, Google understands that. It has data for decades around people searching that. It actually could probably do a good job with its AI of picking up signals to understand who are the right people that you should be targeting. But when it comes to specific softwares that are brand new, Google doesn't really know what that is and it doesn't know who your buyer is. So what we found is that it can't really effectively match your keywords with the themes that people are searching. So what we found is that companies are wasting so much money on broad match, B2B SaaS companies, due to these reasons. And what we recommend is actually using phrase and exact match. The reason is these are tighter match types. So we can get a lot closer to matching exactly the software keywords we're trying to bid on. So what we typically do is we want to start with phrase match just to give ourselves a little bit of volume and understand what's out there with the keywords. And then what we want to do is as we're learning what keywords are consistently bringing in the right people, we want to move those to exact match so that we're only showing up and spending all of our money on exactly the keywords we know that are converting. So in summary, while the common advice right now is to start using broad match, if you're a B2B SaaS company, you do not want to be doing that. You want to be focusing on phrase phrase an exact match using tighter keyword match types to ensure that you are showing up for the correct search terms and actually making sure that qualified buyers are clicking on your ads and converting. Now, match types are super important to making sure that you are leveraging your budget effectively. But if you're not targeting the right keywords in the first place, it doesn't really matter what match types you're using because you're going to be targeting the wrong people who are low intent and are not going to convert. So watch this video on how to find the right keywords to target for your Google Ads strategy.